good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 15th of December, year of our Lord 2023. Welcome to a historic edition of the Coping Hour hosted by Nicholas Hinkle. Historic. Why, Nick? What's going on in this one? Why does the energy sound so low? Is something going on? Are you sick? I'm not sick. And we're making history because this is going to be the first episode of the Coping Hour where I am nursing a hangover, something that I have not had to deal with in a long time. A really long time. I went to a wedding over the summer, open bar. Had never been somewhere that had an open bar before. What an incredible concept. At some point throughout the night, I 86'd their grenadine and vodka, so I could no longer get Shirley Temples. Had to switch it to a tequila soda. I tell you, man, the amount of tequila sodas that I drank when I was living in California, I don't ever want to drink one ever again. But at that point, you know, I had so many, and I was like, I had just spent 90 minutes smoking a cigar. I didn't really care. But I'm saying all this to say I woke up the next day completely fine. Like, it was crazy. I was like, I felt like $1 million. Yesterday, we go downtown to Chris Kindle Market, the little Christmas thing that they got going on like Clark and Randolph. It was really, really cute. Like, it was really nice. I love Christmas stuff. I have a lot of holiday spirit, honestly. Happy Hanukkah, by the way. I think that started, a week ago? Lighting that menorah, everybody. Is Hanukkah when you, like, at right before sunset, light the candles to, like, see your food? Is that Hanukkah? Is that what that is? I digress. So we were doing a bunch of stuff downtown. Ran inside to the State Street, or the Block 37 mall. Then went across the street, went to Macy's, checked out their Christmas stuff because the vibes in there are awesome, to be honest. And then we had some errands to run. We stopped by Walgreens on the way home, and I see a sixer of Old Style. And if you're not in the Midwest, Old Style is basically just like a poorer man's version of Coors Light, right? And I say that because I found a sixer of Old Style for $4. And I'm like, this goes back into the economy, Walgreens. I'm one of those guys that if you show me a good deal, I'm almost wasting money by not capitalizing on this good deal, right? Is that girl math? Is that what that is? Like, I would be losing out on money if I didn't take advantage of this incredible sale. 6 beers for $4. I was like, I'm not even honestly in the mood to drink right now, but I just don't really want to pass this up. So we come home, and we spend the next, 4 hours just talking, and I'm just, putting beers down. You know, and then by the end of it, it's 10:30 at night, and I realize that all 6 of them are gone. So not to count beers and be like, I had 6 beers last night, but I did. And as somebody who doesn't really do that often anymore, even when I would drink, I wasn't drinking 6 of them. I would have 2 or 3, and then be like, I'm really bloated and I don't feel that good. Because that's something about beer that I've never really gotten on board with is after 3 of them, I'm like, all right. You know what I mean? I get it. Unless the vibes are happening and, I'm not really even, thinking about it when I'm putting it down. That's why I like Dirty Shirley's, dude. They just go down. They just go down. If you don't know what a Dirty Shirley is, it is literally just a Shirley Temple with vodka in it. It's the best thing. Now, there is that mental barrier that you have to get past as a man ordering it. But once you do that and you just accept the fact that, I don't need to put on this, front that, I need, a Jack and Coke or, I don't know, what's something masculine. Give me an old-fashioned. Give me a shot and a beer. You know what I mean? Give me a Chicago handshake. I don't need any of that. Give me my fruity drinks. If I'm getting drunk, I would like to enjoy it. I would like to have a good time and, have something delicious. So, yeah, that was why I love Puerto Rico, dude. The amount of just fruity ass drinks that there were. I even got to, this was my whole deal going down there. I was like, if I don't get to drink something delicious and fruity out of a pineapple or a coconut, then what was this trip for? And you know what I ended up doing a couple days later? We're sitting on the beach and a guy comes by. He's like, I got rum and a pineapple. I said, hell yeah, son. Hook that shit up. He brings over this big pineapple with a bunch of sorbet, some pineapple sorbet, basically filled to the top, and in the bottom of it was just a base of rum. I'm chilling, son, under an umbrella, looking at the Atlantic. I'm out in the water, splashing around. Come back in, drink some rum out of this pineapple. It was great. And guess what happened? Puerto Rico, I was never hungover. I got like decently drunk. Like not like I was pretty coherent. Like I would say I was like a 6 out of 10 drunk was like the most that I got in Puerto Rico. So I woke up completely fine. Last night I was probably only at like a 7, but I feel awful today. So if there's ever a moment where I kind of like lean away from the microphone to like breathe and sort of, it's probably just to make sure that I don't throw up, honestly. I'm going to leave it in. I'm not going to edit it out. This show is raw. This show is authentic. And when I'm going through it and the product suffers as a result, we are all going to be witnesses to that. So I don't honestly have a huge monologue today. I kind of wanted to do a whole thing about The Curse, the Nathan Fielder, Emma Stone, Benny Safdie show, because I could do 45 minutes on that show, honestly. We're officially halfway through it. And then I decided not a lot of people are watching that show, and I just think it's going to alienate, and it's going to be a skip for most people anyways. So instead, we're just going to jump right into the show. Email in the chamber. And for those of you who are interested in sending in an email, it will always be on the screen, copingoursubs@gmail.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, even on Spotify, it will always be in the description as well. As this show progresses, the quality of the emails has drastically improved. And we're going to read 2 today that I think are really good. Even the ones that I don't read on the show. And sometimes all that it is like you guys will ask about a team. You'll send like a super nuanced email. But I just like haven't watched whatever team it is in like 2 weeks, and any take that I have like could easily be wrong at this point. You know what I mean? So I just don't really want to set myself up for that, and I also don't want to then deliver like a bad segment because I'm just, you know what I mean? So sometimes if the email's good enough, I bank it, and I think like I can maybe go back to this at some point. But I digress. Let's get into this email. He's got 2 questions for us. First question: can you still be a basketball fan even if you don't watch the games? My favorite sport is hockey, and basketball isn't that exciting to me in the regular season compared to the NHL. Both playoffs are comparable, though. Can you still be a basketball fan even if you don't watch the games? I mean, yeah. That's probably half the people that even watch these videos, to be honest. The amount of people who are like, I don't watch basketball, but I watch your videos, and so everything that I know about basketball is just from your videos. First of all, that's fucking terrifying. And if I came across that guy in real life, I would be like, what are your takes? Like, what are you talking about? I say this, like, genuinely in the most endearing, not even endearing, but, like, we talked about it, I think, in the last episode, that the NBA has to be the most casually watched out of the 4 major sports, or the most casually consumed, where it's such a highlight-driven league, something that the NBA, I think, has an advantage over most of the leagues, like definitely the MLB and the NHL, is literally just like the social presence that the league has. It's undeniable. Right? So it's not that hard for somebody who even isn't that plugged in to see that video of Giannis, sprinting into the Pacers tunnel trying to get that game ball. Like, it was everywhere. You know what I mean? You have a guy like Draymond Green who, it's not that hard to hear about the bullshit that he does, right? For one reason or another, between that and the NFL, it's pretty easy to, and in America, I think the NFL it just reigns supreme like it just does, right? But it's not that hard to stay in the loop. So, yeah, you can call yourself a fair weather fan, whatever you want to call yourself. But, yeah, dude, you're still a fan. Now, the second question that they have here is, do you think Adam Silver is the best commissioner in the 4 major sports? I think he is compared to the others. Goodell's rap sheet is very well known at this point. Thursday Night Football, CTE denial, random fines and suspensions, reffing, etc. Rob Manfred has been in public recently for many things, but not limited to how he handles the Astros cheating scandal, his mismanagement of the 2020 season, how they almost had another lockout in 2022, and some other comments that he made. I would have loved for you to expand on that, but I'll take your word for it. Gary Bettman, you may not know about some of the major... No, let's just clear this. I am very aware that Gary Bettman is like the most booable person, like more than Roger Goodell. Like, this guy is fucking the worst. Gary Bettman is the worst. Anyways... he caused the lockout in 2004-2005 where 0 NHL games were played, another lockout in 2013 which reduced the season down to 48 games, moved 2 different beloved teams from markets that existed since the 80s, one of which is the Arizona Coyotes, who now play at a college arena that only fits 5,000 seats. Yeah, and and that's the email, aren't they also like building a new stadium that has like equal capacity, and there's like it literally looks like a Division III hockey play? Like, I don't understand what's going on. Who's the other organization that you would be talking about here? Atlanta? That's the only other team that I can think of that relocated was the Thrashers. And then they moved them to Winnipeg, which everybody wanted, no? People wanted Winnipeg to have a hockey team again, and they wanted the Jets to be a thing, right? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Because Vegas didn't. Vegas was just expansion. Seattle was expansion, right? So who was the... I digress. The point of the email here is Adam Silver the best commissioner out of the 4 major sports in America? I think it's unequivocally yes. Like, unequivocally. I will go into an interview with Adam Silver with, like, good expectations that I'm going to hear a reasonable person give reasonable takes, unless you ask him about, like, domestic violence. Because the guy is a fucking lawyer. Right? And I don't know what the background of all the other commissioners is. Maybe, like, I could see Rob Manfred being a fucking lawyer. I could have seen Bud Selig being a lawyer too, right? I don't know what they are. But Adam Silver is in control of his verbiage in such a way that even though he may come across as a lizard person, I think they all do, somehow he has the most lizard-like qualities but comes across as the least lizard-like. Do you know what I mean? Where there's like a shred of humanity in there that, I don't know, makes him like kind of a good dude. What I think is funny is how much Adam Silver gives himself credit for the Donald Sterling thing. Like, he talks about, like, man, we found out about it on a Friday, and by Monday, I banned him from the league for life. Like, as soon as we found... It's like, yeah, but he was racist forever. I know you had just gotten the job, Adam, so you were just doing your due diligence, you know, sort of as you were, the chair wasn't even warm yet. But the victory laps there are always funny as hell to me, that we banned this racist. Like, okay, great, nice, good job. That's what you're supposed to do, Adam Silver. But it's also, you know, at least he does shit. Like, at least he... And you can say he's innovating just for the sake of innovating and trying to do shit when he doesn't need to. But we talk about the in-season tournament. We've talked a lot about it in the last few weeks and how people thought, again, that they were invoking a change just for the sake of doing it. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. But at least it kind of freshens things up, not just for the players, but for the fans, right? How much are we talking about how we loved the fact that we just got to watch meaningful basketball in early December? That's something that we've never experienced before. We've never experienced guys playing at that high level this early in a season when games historically haven't mattered at all. So you can say what you want about it, but that in and of itself is exciting, right? Whatever your takeaway of the tournament was in its first season in its infancy, I think we can all agree that so far it feels like a pretty awesome change. There are things that they got to tweak, but that's, again, we've talked about that, and I love the attempt so far. You can't always say the same thing about what they did with the All-Star game. You know, having team captains and conferences don't technically matter, all this stuff, whatever. You know, when and if they revert back, I don't know, what is the official word? Are they doing like just an East-West normal thing again? I know that was what the conversation was, but I don't know what they've confirmed and what they haven't at this point. I do think it's going to be one of those things in like 5 to 10 years, closer to 10 probably. People are going to look back on the whole team captains thing like it was the best idea that they ever had and that we need to bring this back. Like, oh my God, please, prayer hands emoji, gotta bring these back. These were tough. These All-Star games were hard. They were cold. I'm just trying to think of like what Bleacher Report is going to be posting in 10 years. You know what I mean? Trying to get people to, and then people are going to like aggregate that and talk about it like it was this fucking, people have not enjoyed how the All-Star game has gone, right? So this is a very long-winded way of me saying like, well, I guess, you know what's funny is I talk about Adam Silver messing with the All-Star game. Gary Bettman did the same, right? I don't understand how NHL All-Star Weekend works, but I know it's weird. They also, I guess, realigned the entire league with all these divisions and whatever is going on there. I still also don't really understand those. Like when I was growing up, the Red Wings were in the West, and now in 2023, we're in like the Metropolitan Eastern Senators quadrant of the NHL, whatever we're in. What's Rob Manfred doing? Pitch clocks? That's true. He's innovating the game. I can't talk about Adam Silver and innovating the game and then be like, no one else is doing anything. because what baseball has done, from what I understand, as somebody who I've talked about this recently too, that while I'm not that well read on the Tigers, I do still kind of understand what happens with the team for the most part in like a really general sense. But baseball as a whole, like I don't know. The irony is I'm wearing a Dodgers hat right now, but I just don't care. I don't care that much unless your name is Shohei Ohtani. Like I don't have that much interest, which sucks because I really did as a kid. What has Roger Goodell done? The Nickelodeon games are fun. Love a good simulcast. Love that Manning cast. How about that Toy Story game? That was pretty cool. That was pretty fun. What else has there been? I don't know. They did something with the Pro Bowl probably at some point over the last 20 years. Roger Goodell is a check collector. Go look up how much money that guy's made. It's like the same reaction that you get when you were like, Flo from Progressive has made how much money in the last like 10 years? Huh? She's paid like for life? You hear that number. What the hell? It's kind of the same thing with Roger Goodell. You'd be shocked to find out how much money he's made. Yeah, I think it's probably Adam Silver. They're all going to have their misgivings. You know, I think Adam Silver has gotten put. First of all, good for Charles Barkley for putting him on the spot in that situation earlier in the season. The sort of off the cuff, unprompted question about how are you guys really figuring, like, what are you guys doing about domestic violence, and how you sort of like litigate these suspensions. Not that it's the NBA's job to litigate, but Adam Silver is a lawyer after all, right? A lawyer of what? I am not certain. I think he brings. It's also the clip of Adam Silver. The Lakers win the in-season chip, and they bring like some like Make-A-Wish kids out, I think, to shake hands with all the players and to like stand in front of them while they're like getting the trophy. And the kids are trying to get autographs. And Adam Silver was like, fuck them kids. Like, we got something to do, kids. Move it along. Scram. Little rugrats. Get out of here. That's funny. That's funny. If Gary Bettman did that, burned alive. If Roger Goodell did that, killed immediately by somebody, by some assailant, not me. These guys would be crucified if they did that. But Adam Silver being like, fuck them kids, is like somehow charming. Right? Because if you look at all of them, if you look at all four of them, they all walk into a room and you're allowed to have a conversation with one of them. You're picking Adam Silver. Because again, even though he's a fucking bug, he's a bug person, he has the least bug person-like qualities out of all of those rich dudes, out of all of those commissioners, these people of higher power. You know what I mean? I don't know, but it's probably Adam Silver. Another email, Eric checking in. And we kind of got a long-winded one from Eric here, which we love. I love that, dude. I love the nuance. I love the context. I love the detail, the thoroughness. I love all of it. I also love seeing what time some of these emails were sent at. Some of you need to go to sleep at a reasonable hour. But Eric has a lot to say. We're going to keep this concise as we can be, because this is a long-winded email. So just for the sake of time. As a Pistons fan, I need someone who will casually shoot the shit and keep it 100. Well, Eric, then you came to the right place. I have a topic. I understand Cade has avoided a majority of the flack for our performance this year. At what point is somebody going to acknowledge his turnovers and the amount of teams targeting him possession after possession? Mans has been Swiss cheese on defense. And then parenthetically, he included, this is all eye test material from a depressed Pistons fan, so don't fact check that. Close parentheses. I like this guy. See, he gets it. I honestly think he has potential to turn things around. However, it is clear the amount of minutes he's playing combined with the lack of stamina leads to his poor play late in games. Personally, I think this is why we see our lead/chances of winning constantly diminish as the games go on. He's gassed. Defenders blow by him late, and when he is tired on offense, the clumsy turnovers really start to accumulate. I say all of this to put out a hypothetical. If Cade Cunningham missed the first 22 games this season, would we still be 2-20? Personally, I can confidently say that we would have a better record. Additionally, I think we would have seen other players further along. How many losses past 20 in a row do we consider our key player with the most minutes played potentially being a contributing factor? I'm glad to see Ivey get more minutes lately, and clearly that has helped. I'm going to cut the email off there because he goes up to ask a second question that we're kind of just going to address anyway. So, Eric, thank you for the email, dude. Two things up top that I want to address. One, the thing that you said at the end about, Jaden's getting more minutes, and it's great to see that. It is good to see him sort of out of that proverbial Monty Williams jail. Definitely seems like there are some nights where he's on probation still for one reason or another. But I agree with you, and I think there's actually some numbers that would back up that in the last 2 weeks, Cade and Ivey sharing the floor together, I think if you look at field goal percentage and points and somehow assists too, I think they're in the green. As long as those two are on the court together, they are in the green. The Pistons are not as a whole, but those two individually, as individuals, are. The other thing, Cade not getting a ton of flack for how the team has performed this season is interesting to me that you say that, because that to me is just a product of what you're consuming and where you consume it from, what medium. Because I don't know about you, dude, but speaking from my experience, I'm only on Reddit. So that's the only shit that I consume. I don't watch NBA YouTubers because I don't honestly think that many are interesting or that good. I think there just needs to be more shit posting on NBA YouTube. I think people take it way too seriously, and that's fine. If this is your life and this is what you do, you fucking bleed for the NBA, try hard, man. I hope it goes well. I honestly do. But until then, there's no one funny. And the ones that are funny don't upload that much. So anyways, all the shit that I see is on Reddit, which means I see a lot of people talking about Cade. I see a lot of people talking about how we fucked up that pick. Maybe his cousin shouldn't be his trainer. I could do 10 minutes on Ashton, by the way, his cousin. I don't have anything bad to say, Ashton. Don't worry. Relax. It's okay. But I see that shit every day, man. People are fed up. They're sick. They think the 3-ball is never going to come along, which, by the way, making a third of your attempts, which is what Cade is doing right now, isn't the worst thing in the world. I know it seems we had the game against the Pacers the other night. There was a crucial moment with, 5 and change, maybe 3 and change to go in the fourth quarter. And, we're down 7 or something. And Cade has this wide open look from 3. And if it goes down, you're down it's a game, And it just rims out and Indiana does what Indiana does and they just go downhill. It does kind of feel like there are just so many moments where if that shot would have gone in, the Pistons are in a completely different situation, specifically about Cade, with his shots, because he's the one, taking those in those moments. And they this year just haven't gone down. They just haven't gone down, man. And that game was especially frustrating because you were playing a Pacers team that I'm 25 years old. Anybody who is around my age, especially if you're younger, the truth is that the Indiana Pacers this year might be the most prolific scoring offense we've ever been alive for. And I was technically alive for the 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns, but I don't know, mathematically, these fuckers are insane, right? They are taking it to the extreme. I love to make the joke. One of my favorite bits this season is the Rick Carlisle school of we don't give a shit if we suck on defense. We're going to score 130 points every single game. You know what happens when you are a graduate of that university? You score 126 points, but Milwaukee gives you 140. You know what I mean? I digress. The Pistons played that Pacers team pretty competitively for 3.5 quarters, right? And then the wheels fell off at the end and it was whatever. But there was another moment in that fourth quarter where Killian was kind of trying to gain some footing down in the post. And Cade's up by the elbow, kind of tries to throw him a little entry pass almost. And for what I don't remember, if it bounces around, whatever. It just wasn't even close. And it starts going back the other way. I don't totally blame that on Cade because in 2023, find me someone who's throwing an entry pass in an NBA game. It just doesn't happen that often anymore. Whatever. I guess I blame society for this issue. Do I think the Pistons would have a better record if Cade wasn't playing? I don't know. Probably not. But what? You'd want to play the guy we drafted number 1 overall less minutes? Well, Nick, if you think it's going to help the team, why would it help the team? Right? And Eric, I'm not saying this directed at you, dude, but I don't get why fans are so eager to send guys away. And maybe it's because there's also the take out there that maybe Troy just hasn't really set Cade up properly, right? You draft this guy number 1. Okay, that's your guy. That's who your guy is for the next few years. You're rolling the dice and everything is going to be about this guy and making sure that you're maximizing his ability to succeed on a basketball court. So what did you do? You went and got a bunch of guys who can't fucking shoot. You went and got a bunch of guys who, like, when Cade sucks in a defense because he takes 2 dribbles inside the three-point line, you know, to your credit, teams are swarming him. It's because they know he's going to get forced into a bad shot. That's what, like, at this point in the season, a third of his shots are bad shots. Not to sound like fucking Paul George, right? Sound like I'm bitter. But there's that actual metric out there. I feel like I keep bringing up, like, I feel like there's a metric out there. Maybe this doesn't actually exist. I know this does exist. There's a stat out there that indicates that Cade, like, takes the hardest shots in the NBA. I think he's, like, 3rd in, like, shot difficulty, right? Because who's got fucking no one to pass to? He's got no one to pass to. Want him to go down low to Jalen Duren? He can't. For at least 2 weeks. He can't. Asar, like, sometimes, I'm telling you, man, I said this in, like, I think the first episode of the Coping Hour. And since then, this has only become more of a dynamite take. I think he could start on a contending team right now. I really think he could. Maybe he needs to be able to shoot first. Like, if he could actually shoot consistently, even if it was, like, just some shit from the corner, right? Even if that was, like, his only spot. That's how Bruce Brown, that's how he was able to kind of carve out his path in the NBA, was he had to work on one thing, and that shit was his corner 3. Like, when he was in his late years in Detroit, his, like, sort of later stretch in Detroit, that's what he was working on, right? In Brooklyn, I mean, he was kind of doing everything in Brooklyn. Why don't I steer this back into the direction of Cade? You know, because to me, if he got a whistle, we would have won some of these games. That's what's annoying. If Cade could get a whistle and convert at the line, which is the other part of it, but we can't even get there. Let's work on getting to the line first, because we can say anything that we want about how bad this team is, but the one thing that is not, it's like actually not cope, is that he fucking gets clobbered every single night and, like, cannot get a whistle for the life of him. It's kind of like the ultimate catch-22, because when you're as big as he is, and you're, like, as like truly, like, solid, like, just mass, pure mass, your body is able to absorb contact in a way that it makes it a lot harder for an official to see that you're getting fucking demolished out there, right? Because you're just a bigger dude. It's the LeBron issue, right? That's why he started doing the bullshit that he did, like, he started doing, like, over a decade ago, when he started flopping as much as he did. LaFlop, right? Because he was so big that he needs to show the refs, like, no, I am getting thrown around. It's pretty hard for fucking LeBron to get thrown around on that much HGH. But you know what I mean? Somebody needs to teach these guys how to flop. Somebody needs to be the quality veteran on the team that bites the bullet and says, we got to start flopping. We got to do it. I don't know who it's going to be. Alec Burks? Is he, like, a prime suspect for flopping? Bogdanovich? Not really. I don't know. Joe Harris? Not really a flopper. I'm just rattling off vets. You know what I mean? But somebody's going to have to start getting fucking fouled on this team. Cade is, like, I'm not going to end this by saying, like, Cade's fine. End of segment. Sweeping sound effect into the next thing. But I do think that he needs to fucking get a grip. You know how in Scooby-Doo, when, like, Velma loses her glasses, like, inexplicably for the 100th time? And, like, somehow nobody has a problem with it. Everybody's just like, oh, there she lost her glasses again. Did I say Velma? Yeah, that's Velma. Well, in the same way that she needs her glasses, I need my fastballs. I'm nothing without them. I would crumble as a person if I couldn't, you know, one day wake up and throw a nice fastball into a microphone. Which means that I love throwing shit at the wall. I love bouncing new segments around. And I have a new segment today that I'd like to debut called Great Zag or Just a Cybercrime, where I'm going to show you 2 photos, 2 screenshots of posts that I saw on Reddit, and you're going to guess if it's a great zag or just a cybercrime. We all understand how this works? Great. First up, from r/pardon my take. Question for the desk of PMT. Is Tommy DeVito an industry plant? I'll hang up and listen. Now this is just a great zag. That's a hilarious shitpost for the Pardon My Take boys. Because this whole Tommy DeVito mania, we got Italians crawling out of sewers like they're fucking, all over the city eating chicken cutlets talking about Tommy Boy, right? It was all right. Not my favorite Chris Farley movie. No, but that's fucking hilarious. That's really funny to me. And that's how you use industry plant properly. That's a great zag, right? I'm propagating that shit for the rest of the season, or at least until the Giants lose another game. Let's move on to the next one. From r/Detroit Pistons. I don't even know how to say this. I think this is just a cybercrime. What this guy is posting is just a cybercrime, because I don't even know how to describe this. I guess he just wants people to call. Maybe I should blur out the phone number for posterity for future. Because I don't understand how this is still on the subreddit. Why is this still up? I don't know if you can see this, but it got no traction at all. This is a crazy thing to post. Do you want to know what's going to happen if you call the fucking Pistons to, like, air out your grievances? Some freshly graduated fucker from Wayne State is going to pick up the phone. And you're going to be hooting and hollering into the phone. And they're just going to be like, and they're going to hang up. Do you really want to get on the phone with some kid from Oakland who's really only doing this internship so they can get the credits they need to graduate? It's the only reason they're doing it. They're 1 semester away. They're like 1 credit away. They just need this internship. And your fucking ass is going to call them and bitch them out like they're going to pass, like they're writing everything down and passing it along to Troy Weaver. You're probably going to get put on a watch list, brother. Don't fucking call this team. Do hate from a distance, right? And this is honestly, this has to be a cybercrime, by the way. I put out that video on Monday where I was like, Tom Gores, you have 7 days or I'm going to do something right? And obviously the joke was that it was kind of like a fucking ransom video. But when I see shit like this, it makes me pump the brakes because I'm like, I need you guys to be kidding. That's weird. And maybe he is. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I'm taking it too seriously. Because I'm just seeing what else people are saying about, like, how do we organize a protest? How do we organize? And I'm like, don't actually do the January 6th thing. Don't actually do that. Like, well, I don't want to say sneaky do it because then it'll, whatever. Like, it would be funny, but don't do that shit, right? Don't actually bother these people unless it's Tom Gores. Then you can fucking call Securus or whatever telecommunication grift he's up to these days. I guess you can, like, dog shit that into the ground if you want, review bomb them. But don't call the Pistons. Don't call them. I am going to have to apologize. I am going to throw up. So I'm wrapping up the show. We're going to do it slowly here. We'll chat here at the end. But I feel terrible. And we'll be back on Monday anyways, so whatever. Plus, it's like I basically upload every day. It's just, I don't know if you've been able to figure out the formula yet, but it's literally upload the pod, and then the days that are in between the new pods, you just upload a breakout. And so that way, the people who don't want to sit here for an hour and listen to me, yap, they can just do it in like quick, 10-minute bite-sized chunks. And I think, I put out a video the other day that was sort of an extension of a topic that I had on Monday's episode. And it was the NBA player friendship terminal, that video. And I don't know if you saw the video, but I was trying something new in it. And I don't know if I liked it. I think the video was received pretty well, comparatively. But, putting it in 4x3 and the setup that I had and everything, something about it didn't feel right. I think maybe part of it was that I sat down and hit record and didn't actually know what the video was going to be. So I think maybe it was on me to make the video a little bit better by actually. I got to be honest here, man. Like I feel so back that I don't care. I just want to make stuff. I make the joke about if I don't have my fastball, what do I have? But actually. So there are always going to be moments where I kind of just turn on the camera and start talking. A lot of those videos, believe it or not, don't get uploaded. There have been plenty of them. I had one I was going to upload like a year ago. I think I actually did do one of these, but it was like I had COVID and I was just like it was like a COVID brained NBA fan, dishes, scorching takes. And it was just me standing up with a microphone being like, this guy, he's fucking stinks. I was like miserable. I like could hardly stand. I was like, this is not good content. I just didn't upload it. But I got some stuff cooking that I'm excited about. I don't really want to give anything away yet, but it is scripted. Whoa. What is he doing? I got to tell you too, just to piggyback off of the thing that I was just talking about with Tom Gores. I get really bothered when I have to explicitly tell you what the joke is, like you arbitrarily. When I have to explicitly tell, like when people watch that Tom Gores video that I put out, and they're like, "This looks like a hostage video. Like, can you get a better camera?" First of all, pick one, fuckers. Either I need a worse camera or I need a better camera. Second of all, that's the bit, And I'm only bringing this up to say tensions are weird in Pistons land. And I don't know if I want to keep following through with this bit where I'm like, quote unquote, holding the franchise hostage. The sort of geopolitical real life implications here, maybe not great. That's obviously not what I'm going for. And I don't think that's where people's brains are. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm just worried that people are going to like take it seriously and think that they should and like feel emboldened to like harass people that work for the team. Even though I think what I'm doing is clearly satire, people are dumb. And I don't know if I'm ready to be seen in a way that is like, but it's also like you made the content, dude, and you knew what could come as a result of that is people thinking that you're like the Jim Jones of the NBA. And in some way, deep down, you know that you want that. Yes, I do. God damn it. Yes, I do. Truly. What I'm getting at is I don't know if on Monday I'm going to follow through and keep doing it. I'm monitoring the situation, keeping a watchful eye on if I think I can get away with like saying in something insane about Tom. Like, I'm never going to get on camera and be like, I'm going to kill you, Tom Gore. Like, I'm not ever going to do that. Not ever going to do that. Because that's like crossing a line, right? Where you're like kind of blurring this, like, are you just doing a bit or is this real? But if I'm clearly just like, and maybe I'm just talking this out loud for no reason and people get it, but I'm also maybe looking for a little bit of feedback here. I'm not looking for feedback that it's not funny, by the way, because it is funny. And if you say that it's not, I will be the arbiter of truth and I will delete the shit out of your comment. Haven't done that yet. Well, I did one. There was one that I deleted because it was very not nice. I did not like it at all. I was like, that was the rudest thing you could have possibly said. Unrepeatable on this show. It's the only time in the last month that I've deleted a comment. But I will delete it if you say the Tom Gores bit isn't funny. And honestly, I need to wrap this up. I need to stop talking because... Hey, final note, actually, Saturday, Division II football natty between Harding University and Colorado School of Mines. Sko Bisons, Mines down. You know what I mean? Harding has the most prolific rushing offense in like the history of college football. I don't even think it's just Division II, like in the history of college football. As a team, they have 5,500 rushing yards this year. Triple option, baby. Are you ready to watch the triple option in a national championship game? I am. We're rooting for Harding. What else is going on in the world? Oh, yeah, Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. I didn't even do a spiel on that on Monday. Oh, no, we all knew that was going to happen. Okay. Probably deserved to win it. Probably deserved it. Big Dodgers head, apparently. Where's my Shohei Ohtani take? The Dodgers are villains, but I really respect it, actually. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to, well, not rate 5 stars. Leave a like. Be sure to subscribe. If you listen to this on Spotify, you can also leave 5 stars. I will catch you guys
Computers now have
in the
primary
next one.
control.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Primary control.
beautiful,
Primary control.
beautiful,
Primary control.
beautiful.